Hey everybody, it's Janice with Creating Through Chaos. I'm going to start this project off with this frame that I got at Dollar Tree. The first thing I'm going to do is take the frame part off of this. I just used a little mini screwdriver and pulled out all the screws. And I made sure that I set them somewhere safe because we're going to need them again. Also the same with the frame. I'm going to take some sandpaper and quickly sand this over to get rid of those bumps and just to make sure I have a good surface for my paint to stick to. So I'm going to do a quick coat of antique white paint on this after I'm all sanded. And I just did a coat of antique white, and I did this on the front and the back, making sure that I don't get any on the black on the bottom. And I also did all of the edges too. So once I had that coat all on, I'm going to touch up the black on the bottom. It wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be, so I'm just going to add another coat of black on it. And then I am going to paint that frame black also. So I'm just going to give that a couple of coats of black paint and let that dry. So I let it dry in between coats also. So once I have that all done, I'm going to paint this with a deep red now. And I did 2 coats of this deep red to make sure that it was fully covered. And I did this on the front, the sides, and the back also. And I did the white first because when I sand the edges, I didn't want that gray to come through. I wanted this white to come through. So now that I have it all painted, I'm going to start sanding all of the edges. And as you can see, the white coming back through, pull some of that black back through. Make sure that I get all of my dust off. And then I am going to take my antique wax and I'm going to go around all of the edges, but I'm also going to go right across the whole center of the sign. And I did this on the front and the back so that they matched. And I just really want to darken this burgundy up and make this look very aged. So I'm just kind of going around as much as I can, right in the center, pressing down. And this is just an ink applicator. And I really want this to look antiqued. I'm going to make sure that I get around those edges, make them really deep, dark. And then once I have that all done, I am going to put my little frame back on. So I'm going to line back up the holes, and it was a little off-centered, so I'm going to attempt to make it so that it looks even by putting them back in. I'm going to screw those right back into the holes that they were at, but as you can see, I'm not doing them all on the same side. I'm kind of going opposites just so I can kind of pull the frame straight again because, of course, it's from Dollar Tree, so it's not exactly squared up. So once I have those screws all back in, I'm going to just take a little bit of black paint and go over them so that they don't stand out so much. And just cover them right up. And then those will just dry, and I made sure that I got inside the little screws too. And then I'm going to slide one of these vintage postcards in here. And at the end, you'll see you can change out the postcards, as often as you want and put in different designs. I had a whole bunch of different ones, so I'll show you all different ones that I had. Next, I'm going to start adding some greenery down at the bottom. And I just took 4 little picks and added them onto the bottom, making sure that I hold them in the glue so that they set up and they don't start popping off on me, and get rid of those glue strings. Next, I took this little poinsettia and I added that to the center. I did end up changing this. I ended up adding some berries to the bottom and a different poinsettia and some holly leaves that kind of all went together. And I'll show you that in a few minutes here. I'm going to get rid of all those glue strings. Next, I took some black paint on one of my ink applicators, and I went around the edges because I felt like that wasn't dark enough and where I wanted it to be. So I'm just going to add some black paint to this and just kind of go around the edges again to make sure that it gets as dark as I wanted it. I really wanted this to have like a vintage feel to it, and I feel like really that made the difference. So here you can see where I changed out the greenery. In the center, I added that poinsettia and those little berries, and I think that was the perfect touch. And here you can see this is the postcard that I used. And here you can see where I start changing them out. You can kind of put whatever one in you'd like, or even a picture of your family, whatever you have, even a printable would work. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this inspires you to make one. And as always, don't forget to spread the chaos.